Jacoby, could you talk about offensive progress and maybe where you guys are now compared to a month ago?
Um, Starting with the quarterback, our quarterback has gained more confidence. He's throwing the ball very well with confidence. He's making calls and changing the play up. That's getting us in a better way of running the ball. I think he's making our offense move as efficiently as it can. Also, um, everybody's feeding off of him, so I think we're in a very good place right now going into the Elon game.
Jacoby, you guys had so many seniors last year. This time around, with a game like Elon coming up and then the one you have after that, do you guys, as older guys, have to stress the importance of not looking ahead, maybe a little bit more so than the veteran group did last year?
Of course, Coach Rocco has preached a lot that we got to play like we did last week to be able to beat these guys. We're just pushing on and moving forward, working like we did again for the week that we played against Maine.
For both you guys, is there a sense of accomplishment so far that at this point in your schedule where you have 3 straight home games, 2 of them in conference, so far you have taken care of business and gotten better each week? Is that a source of either accomplishment or pride so far?
I'd say it is a source of pride to some extent, but it also is letting us know how good we can be. So we're also working to improve ourselves constantly so that we don't see any drop off in the way we've been playing. It's just working to improve our game and constantly get better.
Yeah, I think that too. I think it's a compliment for that week, but every game's a different game, so we have to come and bring that same intensity as we did last game versus Maine to Elon.
What do you guys know about the Phoenix coming in? They've played them a couple of times, but it's only recently that this has been a conference game for you guys.
Yeah, they just joined the conference. Offensively, what we know about them, I mean, they're very young offensively, but they're very talented, so there's no real tell on exactly how they're going to play against us, what they're going to do. So we just have to really prepare everything that we've seen so far for the season and always expect the unexpected.
David, did you view this 3-game homestand as an opportunity really to grow with some younger guys in new spots after Maryland was tough and Hampton was functional? This 3-game set seemed to be a spot where you guys could take off a little bit.
Yeah, we really needed after Maryland to kind of refocus and re-energize ourselves as a defense. We did have a lot of younger, maybe not quite as experienced players in the games, so I think it was more game experience helped them out overall, and then the older guys working with the younger guys more, we've kind of began to mesh, so we're starting to feed off each other as the season goes on.
Anything else for these guys? Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, I think Elon's a much improved football team from where they were a year ago. I think Coach Schrotsky has a legitimate blueprint as to what he wants to do, and I'm seeing the kind of progress I would recognize in an improved program. They've got 2 wins, have a conference win, had a road win in overtime. So I'm sure that he feels that the progress is not as rapid as he would like, but I definitely recognize progress. Offensively, they're very youthful. 2 young quarterbacks, both pretty talented. Very young stable of receivers. They're young in the O-line. They got a few more veterans maybe in the backfield. And defensively, they've got more of an experienced veteran football team. So, our goal here is to recreate what we were able to do a week ago. Ultimately, you want to be able to recreate the performance, but it begins with recreating the edge, the attitude, the preparation, the mindset. And I think we're off to a good start here with that. At this time, I'll take any questions.
Hey, Coach Rocco, you praised Charlie Fisher after the main
Yes, sir.
game. I wonder if you could elaborate on that. There's a lot made of 23 seniors gone, but you also have a new offensive coordinator. And how's that going?
Well, it's going really well. Charlie has a lot of experience, good understanding of this offense, and he's been able to teach, the players, kind of direct the quarterback. I think in some ways it's a very quarterback-friendly system because Kyle, or the quarterback position, has a lot of ability to change the play, get us into a good play or out of a bad play. And I think that progress has been pretty consistent here as we, kind of head into the heart of the season. Charlie's been around some really, really good football players and some really, really good football, and he's been around some really good football coaches, some of the systems that he's been in and some of the guys that he's worked for. So he has a good understanding of, how to go about doing his job, how to go about preparing his unit, how to go about game planning. We appear to be a little more consistent from week to week in what we're doing. We don't have quite the variety that we've had in the past. But some of the things that I think we're doing a little more consistently. And then it really does go back to what I talked about in the winter, was we're more of a quarterback under center team. We're more of a downhill run team. And all these things we're talking about is our ability to throw the ball down the field, but it kind of stems from the fact that we're under center and we're running downhill at people. And whether it's play action or run, we're creating conflict, for the people that have run past conflict, the outside backers, the safeties. And to this point here, most recently in particular, we've been able to capitalize on that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Coach, given the matchup you have this week and the matchup you have next week, do you feel a little more important this week to stress not looking ahead, maybe a little more so than you may have last year with that veteran group?
Who do we have next week?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay, so I think that respect all, fear none has been something that I've been standing in front of the team talking about really here, since probably January, when we kind of assembled, as a new team moving forward. This is a big game. I talk about conference play being critical. Talk about, wanting to compete for conference championships being important. We talk about winning 8 games as being something that we think is very important. So they all count as one. We got to take care of business here this week. I do recognize that 3 straight home games with a bye in the middle there is pretty favorable in real time right now, and it won't be as favorable when we move forward. But we kind of got to get to that point here Saturday night.
You said that Saturday was the most complete game that the team has played all year. After disseminating through the film, do you still feel that way, and are you pleased with how much the team has improved from week to week?
Yeah, we're getting better. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And sometimes it almost defies logic in some areas because of some injuries that we've had. Our offense has remained healthy, so I think you see that unit is progressing steadily. I think the biggest thing that I addressed with the team early in the week, Sunday in particular, was we had, I thought, 3 opportunities in the first half of the main game to dictate the outcome. And I don't want to say knock them out, but, we had those opportunities there, and we really did not capitalize on them. Now, we did later in the game. Later in the game, we capitalized, and all of a sudden we stretched the score. And I think therein lies the riddle, the ability to seize the moment when the moment presents itself. And sometimes that moment is early in the game. I think I said this with Bob on the radio show the other day, but if you watched the film of Elon, New Hampshire, and you watched the first quarter, New Hampshire jumps up on them. The score is way out of whack. If you just watched second, third, and fourth quarters, you would not recognize who won the game. It's just way too flow back and forth. But New Hampshire capitalized on that opportunity. They recognized it when they saw it, and they took advantage of it. And wow, next thing you know, for all practical purposes, the game was over. We may have had an opportunity like that last week, and we did not take advantage of it. So we've got to do a better job in our ability to seize the moment when it's there. Any other questions?
Hey, I have one more,
Yes,
but
sir.
it's unrelated to the game. William & Mary has a nice support building. JMU has a nice support building. Do you think that's something it's time for Richmond to get?
John, I really don't think so. That's a great question. When I was, my previous head coaching experience at Liberty, when I first went to Liberty, we did not have a building. We were in an area that we shared with a lot of other people, and then they created this building, and it was nice, and I liked it, and I enjoyed having the building and kind of being, quote, the king of the castle and the football building. But we found ourselves, I think, somewhat isolated from some other entities in the athletic department, and there's no connection. I'm not talking about Liberty. I'm just talking about when you do have, where's the football building? It's cross campus over there. And then, that's where you guys are always spending their time. And one of the neat things here, this is a beautiful facility here, this center, the Robins Center, and then the ability to remain connected to the other student athletes on our campus is something that I've gained a real appreciation for. Men and women, all sports. They're walking up and down the halls. Coaches from all sports, men's and women's, are walking up and down the halls. We're bumping into each other all the time. My athletic director is literally right down the hall. So I think there's some real value in that, and there's a little more sense of community when you have that type of environment. When you're a young student coming out of high school, you might really put a lot of stock in the football building per se. I recognize that. But I think as far as the experience, I think this really offers a really strong experience.
Is there any change to the status of David Broadus and the chances that he may be able to rejoin the team this year?
At this time, there's no update on his status. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes.